What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Blackblade and welcome back to Vlog Part 5 of our Molten Strike build. Now, you may find the pattern a little bit similar to the Shadow Duel Claw class, simply because I am going with a critical strike build. So let's get into the build proper. Of course, we are going to start with the Duelist. I first got all of this melee physical damage. Of course, the first one adds a plus 12 to our life and plus 15% increased melee physical damage, and the other one is a 5% increased maximum life and an 8% increased melee physical damage. Passing, of course, 6, 8, and 6 increased maximum life. I did get the Master of Arena for the 1% life regen, 8% melee physical damage, plus 2 melee weapon and unarmed range, and plus 20 to our strength. Of course, I went down here taking the water dancing, and I went down here to get 5, 10, and 15% increased maximum life, and ending with Golem's Blood for a total of 20% increased maximum life and a 1% life regeneration per second. I did take one additional endurance charge over here, and of course, I took the unwavering stance. Now, again, if you have any gear or any thing that could have some mitigation when it comes to enemy stun or stun duration, these are 6 more points that you could allocate somewhere else, so it's not really necessary, but for me, I just really like it. Of course, I went to the right side taking acceleration, leather and steel, and then over here and then taking the iron reflexes. And then I went up here to and then down to take, of course, the thick skin, passing through 5, 10% increased maximum life. The thick skin, of course, it only increases our life by 10%. They did reduce it with an 8% chance to avoid elemental status effects, which is very nice. And then, of course, I went down here to point blank because the Molten Strike projectiles is indeed projectiles, and the point blank affects their damage, so it's really good to take the point blank. Of course, I went up here to get the 5, 10% and 10% increased maximum life. It is raining. It is starting to rain. Alright, sorry about that. Of course, ending with herbalism for some 10% increased maximum life, 20% increased life recovery from flasks, and 20% increased flask recovery. And then I went up to get some more critical strike chances over here, 25 and 25, and ending with Heart Seeker for the 25% increased critical strike multiplier. Now, I was going to take this one, the survivalist, but I didn't take it for now, simply because I was prioritizing my life first. As you can see, I'm only barely at 4k. Once I complete the the life nodes over here, I will get the survivalist. This is a very important skill node in my opinion, because aside from the plus 8 to all elemental resistances, of course we get the plus 1% maximum cold resistance. So it's very good to take this one, whether you're going range or whether you're going melee. As long as you pass through this route, get the survivalist. Of course, I went up and got the Blood Drinker over here, life, and then some 6% increased maximum life over here. And then I took all of the new dagger nodes over here, passing through 12% increased physical damage with daggers, 10% increased physical damage with daggers, and 30% critical strike chance. This one has a 20% increased critical strike chance with daggers, 10% increased critical strike multiplier with daggers. Of course, same as with this one, 20% critical strike chance and 10% critical strike multiplier, ending with Adder's Touch for some 66% increased critical strike multiplier with daggers, and critical strike chance, critical strikes with daggers poison the enemy, which is a very nice touch. And then of course I went up here for the dagger damage and increased dagger attack speed, 1, 2, and 3, they're all the same, and ending with flaying for some 24% increased physical damage with daggers and 10% increased attack speed with daggers. Of course, I got the Mind Drinker for some mana management. If you have a really good mana management in your gear, then it's not really necessary for you to take these two nodes. 12% increased maximum mana, 2% mana leech. Of course, I went up here to take the quickness, 20% increase physical damage, 5% increase movement speed, and plus 10 to our dexterity. And then, of course, I went up, taking some more critical strike chances of nodes over here, 20%, 20%, and ending with assassination for a 30% increased critical strike chance, 35% increased critical strike multiplier. And I went over to the right side, left side over here towards the shadow area, taking one-handed damage. Sleight of hand, 20% increase physical damage with one-handed weapons, 8% increase attack speed, 10% again some more 10% damage over here, ending with coordination for some 12% increase attack speed, 6% increase cast speed, which we don't need, and plus 20 to our dexterity. And then of course I went up here to get this Soul Siphon for some mana management. I went up here to the right side, taking the Blood Siphon, of course, for our life, passing through 6% and another 6% life note over here, ending with Trickery for some 20% increase elemental damage, plus 20 to our intelligence, and plus 20% increase critical strike chance. Now I did go up, taking the power charge duration and the infused here for a plus 1 maximum power charge. And then I went up here. Of course, I am going to finish all of these life nodes simply because I am, barely on the 4K. I'd love it if I could get that to probably 4.2K. Much like in my Shadow Dual Claw class, when I'm in the Shadow Dual Claw build. And of course, ending with getting some more critical strike multiplier over here, 10, 10, and then 25 for a total of 45% increased critical strike multiplier. So that's it, I guess. When I level up some more, I am on level 77. When I level up some more, I'd probably be able to push it to level 80. It really depends. But I am going to take these two remaining life notes over there, and of course, I will end the build by taking the survivalist. I'm not exactly planning ahead yet on what I would do if I'd probably get my level to level 85. I really have a lot of builds to do and to remake. So 80 would probably be my maximum level for this character. And yeah, so that's about it. Let's get into our gear. Oh, and again, you may notice that it's almost the same route as the Shadow Dual Claw build that I did, simply because I think this is the best route to take if you are going, a crit build, because you will be passing through almost all of the most important critical strike and critical damage nodes that will help in your build. All right, so let's get into our gear. On the first vlog, on the previous vlogs, I did use claw for the survivability, but then I was able to pick up this very cool claw. What I mean is a very cool dagger, which has a lot of physical damage, 88% increased physical damage, 19 to 33 physical damage, plus 19% increased attack speed, 55 to mana, 23 to fire resistance, and 119 accuracy rating, which is pretty good. And I've been surviving pretty well with this dagger, and I don't really need the more added survivability that the claw gives. But if you want, if you're having a little bit of trouble with your survivability, then just exchange all of this dagger nodes into the claw nodes. It's as simple as that. If you want to use claw, go ahead and use claw. If you want to use other weapons like axe or swords, of course, take the appropriate nodes for them. I believe that there are some there are some sword nodes over here, and some more sword, claw, and dagger nodes over here. It will be entirely up to you on what your preference are. Alright, let's go to my other skill set. What I mean is to my other gear set. I'm using a rat's nest for my helm. I'm using a onyx amulet for my amulet, life, resistance, and of course the plus attributes. I'm using a life resist on my two rings. These are the exact, almost the exact gear set, for my Shadow Dual Claw, because I believe that I made already an almost perfect melee build with the Shadow Dual Claw. That's why I'm kind of incorporating almost all of the items on almost all of the melee builds that I will do. So you will see probably almost all of these items on all of the melee builds that I will do. But anyway, life and resist over here. For my other ring, life again and resist. Of course, we are going to be using a shield for this one. I have a really pretty good shield here. Excellent life. 24% all resist, plus 12% another plus 12% all resist, and plus 31% increased cold resistance. For my gloves, I'm using this one. Of course, life and then resist, and then life leech. For my belt, I'm using a rustic sash. Plus 15% increased physical damage, 27 to strength, 98 to our maximum life, plus 12 to our maximum energy shield, which is kind of meh. Of course, 2 resistances and a 13% increased life blast. And for my boots, life, 3 resistances, and movement speed. Alright, so that's about it. Let's get into our damage. Alright, our Molten Strike is doing, am I reading that correctly? 11,718 DPS. Of course, this is a crit build. When that crits, I'm not exactly sure of the damage. But our critical strike multiplier is at 623%, which is really, really good. But our critical strike chest is only at 28%. But when our charges are up, as you can see, we are over 4 with our power charges. That will the critical strike chance will of course go up. Alright, okay, before I forget, let's go into our skill gems. Of course, what is attached to our Molten Strike is multi-strike, lesser multiple projectiles, faster attacks, power charge on critical, and increased critical damage. Now, if you are having trouble with your life again, you could probably switch the faster attacks if you want with life leech, or you could switch the LMP for some life leech, or you could probably, I don't know, I think the critical damage is really important here. You can probably switch the power charge on critical with that one. If you don't really want the power charge on critical, of course, you will have to, come on! Of course, you will have to change this one. Instead of probably getting some power charge over here and the power charge duration, you'd probably go over here instead, or probably just remove all of those two, or you could just put the power charge on critical, probably on whirling blades, or probably on spectral throne, just to get your charges up. Alright, so that's about it. Of course, for our aura, we are using reduced mana, grace, and hatred. For our other skill gems, we are using faster attacks, whirling blades, and Val haste, and of course attached to empower. Now, I did instead of using the Val cyclone, I did use the Val haste because it's going to be the Val cyclone will be a little bit dangerous because of the fact that we are not gaining life. And because we are not what I mean is we are not gaining life that fast because we are not using claws, so that's why I just used the Val haste over there. And of course, we are using CWTT, Enduring Cry, and Assassin's Mark. Again, if you'd rather cast the Assassin's Mark manually, go ahead and do so. I am just a lazy son of a bitch, so I'm just using that with CWDT. For my other gems, CWDT, Enduring Cry, Life Leech, and Molten Shell, very typical. And for my other gems, I'm using CWDT, Immortal Call, Increased Duration, and Enhance. Alright, I guess that's about it. Let's go to our defenses. All of our resistances are capped, except of course for Chaos Resistance, which is sitting at -60. Our armor is only at 582k, with an what I mean is at 5k, almost 6k there. With an estimated physical damage reduction of 39%. Alright, I guess I have discussed everything. What about my life regen? I've been looking for that for quite some time now. Oh yeah, there we go. Our life regen is at only 84.6. Alright, so let's get into killing piety. Alright, anyway. So yeah, so the build has been doing great. I've been doing level 71 and 72 maps quite well. I haven't really done level 73 simply because of the fact that I ran out of maps. So yeah, and I'm kind of scared a little bit to do level 74 maps. So we'll just have to see when I level up, a couple of levels some more. I'm going to do level 74 maps once I get all of these, these two remaining life nodes, which means that's on level 78, 79. Alright, so let's get into Piety real quick. So this is kind of like my third time to kill Piety. Her second form will be a little bit dangerous, so we'll have to look out for that one. Alright, here we go. Oh! Where the hell? Oh my god, I thought she teleported. Anyway. Oh, now she teleported. Okay, where is she? Alright, she's down here. Oh god, I just hate it when she teleports. Alright, I just popped in my haste, did I? Oh god, I don't even see it. Did I pop in my haste? Alright, well anyway. So she's pretty easy when it comes to her fire elemental form. She's a little bit difficult when it comes to her ice elemental form. So you'd have to watch out on that one. Make sure that you don't get hit when she's on the ice elemental form. Simply because on my gear, you know, I'm really lacking some life leech. But if you have a lot of life leech, then you know you could probably tank her even though she's on her ice elemental form. Alright, so that's about it for this episode, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the content, please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, see you guys on the next one of my video. Have a good one. And then evidently, but me, of course, I decided to go with the melee part. And then of course taking the Master of Arena, which increases our melee damage, physical damage by 8%. And of course increases our melee weapon on